Okay, so this video is going to show you how to find the line of best fit using your graphing calculator and obviously to graph the data as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to input my list 1, which is the day, and then I'm also going to input the height list as well. So on your graphing calculator, you need to go to Stat and then press Enter. Now, if you have any data, let's pretend you have some data in here. Remember, you can either press Delete over top of one of the numbers, or you can go up to the list name and press Clear Down, and then the whole list will disappear. So make sure you have list 1 and list 2. If you don't, you might want to clear out your calculator. So remember, to do that, you press second, and then this plus sign, and then you're going to go down to number 7, Reset, and Yes, and that will clear everything out of your calculator. So I'm going to press Stat and then Enter, and then I'm going to put my data in. So 2, 3, 7, 9, 15, and 16. And then it's really important that the data matches up. So this would be like a coordinate pair, so 2, 17. So make sure that all of your data matches perfectly. And if you miss one of the numbers and you have a different number of values in each list, like I apparently do here, 22, 26, 37, 55, 60, 2, 3, 5, 7 is not a part of it. There we go. Then that would have actually given me an error. So it's really important that the data matches up perfectly. So the next thing I need to do is I need to turn my plot on. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure there's no equations in. So I'm going to go to y equals. And do you see how I have an equation in here? I'm going to clear that out. You can see none of my plots are on right now. So I'm going to go to second y equals. I'm going to press Enter. I want to turn the plot on, so I'm going to press Enter. And then I'm going to come down, and I actually want that first plot. That's your statistics plot. All those little dots will be the coordinates, just like I graphed here. And then you want it to say list 1 and list 2. If you need to rename a list, you press second and then the number of the list name. So you can see like 1 is L1, L2, L3. And then you can pick whatever mark you want to. The most important button, like I always say, is actually Window. So if you go to Window, think about what you would set it up if you were graphing it. So for my X, you can see it goes from 2 to 16. So for my X minimum, obviously 2 would have to be the smallest one, but I'm going to start at 0. And then it goes all the way up to 16, so I'm going to go to 20. And I'll probably go by 2s. And then 17 to 60. So I'm going to start at 0 just so I can kind of see where it crosses. So it's really important to start a little bit below in these kinds of situations. So I'm going to start at 0. And then I'm going to go up to 80. And I'm going to go by 10s. Okay. Now I should be able to hit graph. There we go. There's my data. If you got some kind of error, go back and check your window, go back and check your y equals, or press second y equals and then rewind the video to make sure you have everything set up correctly. And then if worse comes to worse, clear out your calculator and then try it all again. So here I am. Here's my data. So now I actually want the line. I want the equation of the line that's going to work here. So I'm going to press second. Stat. Oop, I lied. I'm going to press Stat. And then I'm going to go over to Calc. So I press Stat, and then I went over to Calc. And then I actually want the linear regression. That means line of best fit. I want the linear regression model. So I'm going to press Enter. And then depending on what kind of calculator you have, you might see like an L1 and L2, and you're just going to go all the way down to Calculate. And if you don't have one that's a little bit newer, you're actually going to press second 1, and then you need a comma, and comma's directly over 7. Do you see that comma right there? Press comma, and then press second 2, and then I'm going to press Enter. So, do you see how it's y equals ax plus b? That's a little bit different. Usually ours says y equals mx plus b, but a is next to the x, so obviously that's going to be what? Yeah, that's your slope. So the slope of my line is 2.94, and then the start number is 11.64. So I'm going to jot that down on a piece of paper so that I remember it. So y equals 2.94 x plus 11.64. Okay, And you can see it's similar to mine. It's not exactly the same. Like their slope was a little bit larger and their start number was actually a little bit smaller than mine. And remember, I drew mine the best that I could, but the calculator is actually going to give me the exact linear regression model. So I'm going to now go to y equals, and I want to actually type in the equation that I just got. 2.94, remember your x plus 11.64. And now I'm going to hit graph. And you can see that it does a really nice job going through. So now if I had to go and describe, which you're going to have to do, what the equation tells me about the plant's height, you would say that the height started at about 11.64, or you could say like approximately 12 centimeters, and it's growing by about 3 centimeters each day.